Hi, I'm Sherry Henley, and I am the founder and CEO of Business Over Coffee International. And what you are watching today is Business Over Coffee TV with my co-host, Shelly Bauer of Integrity Based Communications.
Thank you.
Tell us what to expect today, Shelly.
Oh gosh, we're going to be talking about media and entertainment from start to finish.
Exactly.
And we have some lovely ladies and fine gentlemen to join us today that are going to
That's right.
cover the whole gamut.
And our guests today are Kayla Paget, who is world-renowned recording artist as well as a radio talk show host, 16 years old, absolutely fabulous.
Go, Kayla.
And then we have Caroline Norwood, who is the BOCI tech team leader, but in her own right is a fabulous photographer with CN, Caroline Norwood Photography, and an image consultant, certified image consultant with the Fashion Academy. So you definitely want to hear what Caroline has to say about media and entertainment from start to finish. And we have Jay Lazarus Hawk right here with us, who is the founder and co-owner of Rising Fire Productions, which is exactly who put this program together. They are fabulous. So you're also going to hear what Lazarus has to say about media and entertainment. So stay right where you are. We are bringing everyone together and you are part of it. Shelly, tell us about the communication aspect of media and entertainment, because that's where it all starts. That's our foundation.
It is, and what I like to say to youngsters who are coming up or even proteges in college is manage your message instead of letting someone else manage your message. So in other words, be careful what you're doing, not only face-to-face, but also what you're doing online, because it will come back to haunt you. But more importantly, if we can envision what our future is going to be and start walking, talking, and act as if we already are that person that we want to be in the future. Those are probably the two things that I would put out there.
Outstanding. I'm going to go to the veteran, and I'll come back to Kayla and Caroline. Lazarus, you've been in this business for a very long time. Tell us your take and give us an experience you've had, good and bad, in media and entertainment.
Probably on the bad side, it's a fairly consistent same incident over and over, and that is that people who are not doing production, people who aren't involved in the behind the scenes part of productions themselves, rarely understand how much work goes into a production. So almost every production that is brought to us or to many other production teams is unprepared.
Sure.
And then we have to tighten up any pre-production work and get out there and make it happen on a schedule.
Which you did right here today. And the first time you ever filmed Business Over Coffee TV, you walked in cold turkey and made it happen.
As I said, without proper preparation, you have to have a production team that can make it happen, no matter what. And in 12 years, I've done a lot of work on low and predominantly no budget productions where, you know, everybody on set is wearing 6 hats and doing 7 jobs. Sure. But you learn very quickly on our side of it how to make it happen, because this is what we do. And the only way we're going to be able to continue this is if we satisfy our customers. Had we come in here and thrown together a set that in no way gave life to your production, you wouldn't have invited us to come back.
Right.
With pre-production, what you can do is immeasurable. And one of the goals of our company is to start teaching our clients, as we work with them, how they can make their next one better, how they can improve the next time, what things they might need to consider, whether that's a scheduling issue,
Yes.
or whether that is simply understanding the importance of light and sound.
Right.
You know, when you come into a room with the lights in the ceiling and shoot, you end up with a very flat image. We bring in, you know, our go-to man, Greg Gray, and he brings his lights, he brings his sound. And so teaching people the importance of sound, the importance of lighting, the importance of having depth, things like that are what we encounter most as far as their lack of preparation.
And that's a differentiator for you too, because I remember the first time we met and we did the first pilot of BOCI TV, you know, I was already talking about you and referring you to people because of your attitude. I mean, we knew that we were on a shoestring and that we were doing it on a very short time frame, and you guys are just champions.
Well, I appreciate that. It's important to us that everything we do meets our standards. It isn't even about the client at that point. Yes. Ultimately, it becomes about the client. But outside of this kind of work, we're filmmakers.
Yes.
We create narrative films to be seen on a 30-foot screen.
Right.
We want everything we do to look good on that 30-foot screen.
I love that. And in the movie making, as you were talking about, the film industry, you work with a lot of entertainers, which leads us to Kayla Padgett, who is an entertainer in her own right. Kayla Padgett is fabulous, by the way. Can I get an amen on that one? And 16 years old, just a phenomenon to me. Radio host on BOCI and traveling the world. You have listeners from all over the world. Tell us where people tune in and listen to your radio show, where they are from, Kayla.
Wow, well, I mean, I have people listening from all over the world. I mean, coming from Korea, China, Japan, Africa, Europe, England, all over basically. And, you know, it's just really amazing. And it really surprises you, you know, you also host your own radio show. And it's just very heartwarming to have fans all over from all of the world listening. So it's great.
Well, we're very privileged to have had you on our platform, Shelly. I met Kayla through the Loretta McNary show. And she was only 15 at the time, and we brought her onto our platform, and it's been over a year now.
I know, it's exciting.
Yes.
She's done a great job.
It is. So tell us about your music career in entertainment from start to finish.
Well, actually, I first started singing at the age of 9 after the death of my grandmother. It was a very difficult time for me. So I kind of found singing as a way to deal with my grief and just not knowing that it would lead to so much more. Being a young entertainer in Nashville in the music business, it's really hard because they sort of want to make you older than what you actually are, and that can become very hard. Sure. They try to dress you to be older, make you talk to be older, and you know, that's not really what music is about. You don't have to wear skimpy clothes to be an awesome singer. Right. But the media, they have like a total different perspective on things, and that can be very difficult. You have tons of pressure. I'm sure you see the stars on TV and you know they're like a size 2.
Right.
So, you know, the media kind of paints this image to you and they expect you to live up to that. And that can be very difficult. As you can tell, I'm not a size 2.
You're gorgeous.
I'm not.
You are beautiful.
So I have experienced many difficulties, but in the end, you know, it all pays off, and I'm very proud, and I love it.
You should be. Your mother manages you. Talk about your relationship with your mother.
My mother is absolutely awesome, if I must say. Yes, she is my manager, and actually, she was the one who taught me how to sing. She trained me, and I don't know, I just love her so much. And, you know, I really don't know what I would do without her. I couldn't ask for a better manager. She's amazing.
Absolutely.
Gosh, she's crying out there, isn't she?
Shelly, the first time you heard Kayla, what were your thoughts going through your mind as a 15-year-old girl at the time that you heard her?
I was blown away. It was at the BOCI
Click and Connect
Click
holiday.
and Connect
Yes.
holiday. It was, and here she was over here in this little makeshift corner thing, just singing her heart out. And I went, "Wow, she can't only be 15 years old."
Right.
So, you know, you've got fans all over the place who don't tell you as often as we should that we are so proud of you, and we hold you up as a young star and role model, and we applaud you for holding to your values and your your sweet way of being in the world. So you just keep it up.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for being you.
You had the opportunity to photograph Kayla as she sang, making sure that you got the right angle and so forth, and you being a professional photographer as well as an image consultant. Caroline, would you elaborate on how you would work with someone like Kayla Paget, who is a young woman who's struggling with maybe a box that Nashville would try to put her into?
Well, that's what I love about Fashion Academy is it teaches people how to be real, and it doesn't put these blind, lies in their mind to be a size 2. It teaches them to embrace their personality. That's a really big thing with Fashion Academy. Absolutely. Embrace the natural beauties that they have, like their skin tones and things like that. It teaches them what to wear with their body shapes rather than trying to distort their body shapes. And that's what I love about Fashion Academy.
I do too. In fact, the first time I met Carolyn Bindle, which I think we all know here, yes. Caroline saw me. This was when I had red hair, and this was when I had makeup on that was an inch thick, and she said, wait a minute, I need to meet with you. And because of her, I was able to downsize the makeup and really let whatever it was, she calls it my natural beauty, just come out. And I think that's so important. And that takes us back to the authenticity of who we are, Shelly.
That's right. Who we are, what our message is, how we want our message to be projected, how we want ourselves to be projected, and to be in charge, as I said earlier, to be in charge of your own messaging as opposed to having someone else do it. In the case of Kayla, it would be, are we going to let Nashville do the messaging, or are we going to have a strong mom who happens to be your coach and your manager stand up for you when you can't stand up for yourself?
That's right. And Lazarus, you work with all ages, acting classes, all of that, all of the above, have your own radio show as well, your own television show. And so in your experience, you talked about the negativity that you've dealt with. Can you elaborate on the positive that you've dealt with in media and entertainment?
And first I want to clarify that it wasn't necessarily negativity. It's just lack of understanding, therefore lack of proper preparation and pre-production for a project.
Absolutely.
On the positive side, we get to meet fantastic people. And the way we run our business, the way we run our sets, is that everyone is part of a family. And we don't really have a lot of room for ego. Me being who I am, I actually demand that people are themselves. I want no false anything. And I don't care if that's a physical quality, a mental quality, or what. Just be who you are, because that is who you were meant to be. And everything in the world is presentation. Whether you're going for a job interview or you're on stage singing, everything you do is presenting yourself to someone. So being aware of what you're presenting, having a consultant for your image, understanding how the psychology behind how you are presented to someone and being seen is a very positive thing. And when we try to do our best to work with people on that level, because we want them to be presented as best that they can possibly be presented, whether that is in a film we're doing where we have a particular character that we need to be a specific look, or whether that's shooting something like this where you're presenting yourself to your entire audience. You want to look good. You don't want someone telling you you have to look a certain way. You want to be who you are and present yourself to your customers, to your clients, to your viewers as you. Yeah. And that is a very important aspect of things for us and for you on your end. So we've had the good fortune of meeting a lot of really good people that seem to understand that, and seems to be what they want to do. They don't want someone training them to be something they aren't. They want someone to help refine the qualities that they have so that they can better present themselves.
I like that. And Shelly, you were on the show, the BOCI talk radio show, The Official, on Wednesdays with me when Bob Berg was on.
Oh, yes.
And Bob Berg is fabulous. If you haven't read the book, Go Giver, go buy it.
Amen.
And the law of authenticity is one of the laws that he talked about. And I'll never forget what he said. He said every day when you go to work or you go to the stage or you go to take pictures at an event or you go out to do a film or you go out to speak to a team, show up as yourself. And Shelly, you elaborated on that.
Well, if you show up as yourself, you never have to try to remember what you were to what audience.
Sure.
If you are who you are and you project who you are authentically, consistently, you don't ever have to worry about telling a lie from a messaging or an image point of view. What you see is what you get.
Exactly. And Caroline, we rely on you a lot at the BOCI events that we have every Thursday, 9 to 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. We hope you watch or participate or show up. And when you do all the things that you do, when it comes to tech, photography, social stream, Twitter, @BOCoffee, #BOCI, all those things that you've got to remember, tell us what's going through your mind when you're shooting those photos for those events that you cover, whether it's for us, whether it's for, who was it?
Mary Singer, Webeck.
Yes, different events, B&I, that you covered the other night. Tell us exactly what you look for.
I think mostly I look for angles a lot of the time, and I love to catch people in their moments where they are showing their personalities. They're kind of being casual, those candid moments, but also I am trying to get a good angle where the lighting hits their face right, or they're not going to look distorted, or things like that, because people, when they see me taking their picture, it's fun to watch them tense up or suck it in or kind of do this little number with their faces too, because they want those good angles. And if you stand at a certain way, or if you come at it a different angle, then you can get a better picture, honestly. And
Yes.
that's why you probably see me getting in some odd positions when I'm standing. I'll like crouch down odd and things like that,
Sure.
because I am trying to get those good angles.
Well, I've heard of the, can you take the skinny picture? So is there any way, other than airbrush, which I really don't want to be airbrushed, but if someone were out there and they're just getting started, what should they ask a photographer for when they're trying to get that correct photo?
Well, you would hope the photographer would know a little bit on how to angle them, but honestly, I think when you stand, you want to create angles with your body. Like you want to, turn yourself, your shoulder this way or this way, and create the shapes. You don't want to look straight on, square, or round, so you want to kind of turn.
No,
you
we don't want to look round.
Yeah, so that's that skinny picture that you'd want. But
Sure.
yeah, so it is all about angles, the way you stand,
Yes.
and not destroying your neck and things like that. So. Yeah.
Is that the case also when you're filming?
Absolutely. We probably have a little bit more freedom when filming, just because we've got all the lights, we've got all the whole set to work with. Sure. We can tell them to move. We're not at an event where we're just capturing those candid moments. Right. So we have complete control of telling them what we need them to do. So it's a little easier for us. But the principles are the same: angles, lighting, understanding how to get them to turn in such a way that light will accent something, yes, or even sometimes hide something that is undesirable or in the moment, not what you're looking for. But the principles stay the same for both.
Very interesting. I'd like to segue into the stage and how media and entertainment from start to finish, how that we on stage need to have the presentation. Now, Shelly, you teach presentation skills. Tell us more.
Well, I'm working with a group of corporate executives right now, and what we do is we videotape them in every single session as a collective. They're going one after another and not giving them feedback as we go, because what I want them to do is see the video and have their aha moment. And when I'm evaluating their presentation, there may be 17 things that I see, but I don't want to overwhelm them. They'll walk into the coaching session, I'll say, so did you see your video? And they'll usually roll their eyes and go, oh yeah. I'll say, well, what did you see? What would you like to change?
I like that.
Because if there are 17 things that could use change, what they identify is what they saw, what bugs them, what they want to improve upon, what they, what really pops out to them is the very thing that they're ready to deal with. So whether it's filler words or it's not standing. A lot of people will just kind of wander onto the stage and have this casual presentation, and I say, you know what? It's kind of like doing yoga, and the muscle memory says, oh, it's yoga time, and the body gets ready. Well, presenting is the same way. You may be cutting up with people as you're walking to the stage, but you go up, you plant yourself, you assume speaker's pose, and you begin with a strong beginning, and you end with a strong close, and usually they're tied together like bookends if the meat's in the middle and you got sandwich on either side. I said, even if you don't memorize a quote, or you don't do a 1, 2, 3, and now I've covered this, and now, you know, but if you just begin with how you want to begin and how you want to end, you can have a lot of messiness in between for which you're forgiven to be memorable and to be professional in the case of the people that I'm working with is very important because they're not just presenting themselves, they're representing a company.
What is the pulpit stance that you just mentioned?
Oh, the speaker stance?
Yes,
It's when you
correct.
want me to do it?
Yes, please.
Okay, it's when you stand up and you plant yourself. You don't lock your knees because if you do that, you can faint. You know, you can fall out.
Right.
But you just put your hands at speaker's pose, and I tell people to pretend like they've got books in their hands. So, because it's a very unnatural pose. But if you keep your hands here and you train yourself to do it, then when you gesture, it's very natural, and then you drop back, and it actually has more emphasis if you're coming from down here than if you're cutting off your body visually, which quite frankly, can send a mixed message. It's like, ooh, what is she trying to hide? But if I'm doing this, then I'm gesturing from here, or I'm talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, or going to the future. You know, it's just very natural. But it's a new habit. So I teach people that there are habits to break and habits to make.
Right, and this is one of the reviews that you offer to our BOCI members, professional members. And so just so you know that, contact us at businessovercoffee.biz and we will tell you more. Also, you have a book, Integrity-Based Communications, that we want to do a shout out about, ShellyBauer.com, that's SHELLEY.com, and Integrity-Based Communications with an S.com. Check it out. Let's go to you, Kayla, and talk about stage presence. Shelly, you just mentioned power. I think that the way you hold your shoulders, the way you hold your neck, all of that, the way you walk on stage is so important. And Kayla, you have such a powerful stage presence with that gorgeous smile. Tell us what your advice to those who are coming up, as I have to say that you have taken my daughter, Paris, under your wing. You can tell us more about that. So what's your advice to her about stage presence?
Well, I think that stage presence, you have to know who you are. You have to have confidence within yourself. It is very important because you want to capture the people, whether you're singing or talking. It's very important to the audience, and as you just mentioned, I have taken Paris underneath my wing, and she is just a fabulous 9-year-old girl. She's an amazing singer, very vibrant, very energetic. You know, you just have to love her. So far, I've been working with her for about, 3 months now?
Something like that, yes.
Something like that. We've already been in the studio. She's recorded her first song.
You were the executive producer and the producer as well. Yes.
That is correct. I am so happy. But basically, I want her to be her. And that's the first thing. You can't go on stage being someone you're not. And you just have to have a lot of confidence. And that's what I always teach her over the phone. And I don't know if you hear me or not, but I'm like, when you say that part, you have to be really sassy. And so she always laughs at that. But be yourself.
I like that. It's so important that someone is themselves when they are presenting, whether it be acting or so forth. What would be your advice to an actor as being themselves when they're portraying a different character?
The authenticity is still the same. You have to know who you are to be able to present something that isn't you. And one of the things I tell a lot of my actors is you want to get to a point where you understand the psychology of your character to the point where you believe it. It's not as hard for an actor or performer on stage necessarily or it's not as easy for people to see the eyes. In film, when you have this kind of camera and you get close-ups, every little movement is epic size.
Sure.
So if you are lying to yourself and you are lying to your audience and you're just playing a role, that's going to show in your eyes, and you're going to lose people. But when you truly embrace the role, or embrace your own personality, as she's telling
Yes.
your daughter,
Right.
then there's an authenticity behind your eyes that cannot be denied. And when people see that, it's infectious. It keeps them. I basically tell people to embrace the character, much the same way that Kayla would tell your daughter to embrace who she is as a person.
Sure.
It's easier for some people than others. Like I said, if you know who you are, then you have a much better bet at being able to pull off, in my opinion,
Yes.
the playing of another character.
Right.
You mentioned earlier that going out and being authentic, Shelly, being an authentic person, and the benefits of that. As far as I'm concerned, the reason I'm sitting at this table is that fact. It's not that we were able to put together your production. It's the fact that while doing your production, we were also able to meet you as people,
Yes.
and to be open and honest with you, and to be perfectly clear and transparent
Right.
with personality. I mean, you've seen me everywhere I go. I'm scruffy, I'm always in black, I have a hat on my head,
And you
whether
always
it's this
look
or
great.
beret. But
How do you pull it off? I mean, you do. You always look artistic, I should say.
it's who I am. It's that kind of confidence. If I were to
Yes.
go someplace in a suit, I get just as many people looking at me odd as when I go out in public the way I normally dress, because it still isn't right. They can tell that's not the normal me just because it isn't. But I came here, I'm who I am, I presented myself as such,
Yes.
and I was freely embraced by everyone in your community.
Right.
So I think that the authenticity that you're speaking of is actually the most important element for a singer, for a speaker, for an actor on any stage. That authenticity, that true personality is what will really help your audience embrace you. Because when it's fake, people know, and
That's
they
right.
they tend to pull back. They may not know why, but they pull back from that inauthentic,
Sure.
or if that's the right word, that individual who does not come across authentic, that individual who does have some sort of shady or foggy quality to their personality, or the way they
Right.
deliver themselves. And it puts us off. We become uncomfortable. And there's a lot of reactions that we have. I'm sure you've been taught a lot of this as stage. There's a lot of things, whether it's color, shading, angles, all these things have a psychological impact on the human brain, which is why the photographer puts a person at a specific angle, in a specific light, because they want a specific reaction to the shot. And it's
Very
all about how we react to what is being presented.
Even in the subconscious mind.
And when we're authentic, the presentation is authentic.
And if not, we're sending mixed messages. I mean, how often have you heard someone, if you get a text that says everything's fine, but you hear a delivery of, oh, everything's fine, the sarcasm, the body language where you're turning away, and the body language will trump the tone of voice, and the tone of voice will trump the words. So even if we're projecting, so to speak, if it's not real, if it's not authentic, someone will either look away or they'll go, something's just not quite right with that. It's just like we get this intuition, this gut reaction.
And they may not even know what it is. It's just quick reaction.
That's right. I find it very interesting the way that this panel, really the foundation of media and entertainment, this panel took us to the foundation. And that is through collaboration of this conversation, we are able to determine that authenticity is where you start from. And from there, you bring on the person to help you communicate correctly with ShellyBauer.com. And you watch and listen and learn Kayla Paget and not only the stage presence, but I have to give credit to God, the anointing on your life as well. And the fact that you let that shine through. And then making sure that you get a great photographer. And if you're in the Memphis area, of course, Caroline Norwood is one of the best. I would say she's I'm looking at her for the book cover. You'll hear more about that. And of course, to get, if you want to have a business setting and have an episode for your business, or if you want to produce a movie, then you contact Rising Fire. That's FYRE.com, and that's Lazarus, J. Lazarus Hawk. And we'll give those connections in just a moment after Kayla sings one line for us.
I hope you never lose your sense of wonder. You get your fill to eat, but always keep that hunger. May you never take one single breath for granted. God forbid love ever leave you empty-handed. I hope you dance. I hope you dance.
Oh my God. I would like to give you contact information for everyone that's been on this panel. So we're going to start with you, Lazarus, and just walk down the line.
All right, it's J. Lazarus Hawk at risingfire.com. Lazarus like the Bible, fire with a Y. You can visit our website at www.risingfire.com. And we can give you anything from a web video to a motion picture and anything in between, and it'll all look the same quality.
Caroline Norwood.
Okay, it's CN Photography. It's Caroline Norwood Photography. My email is cenorwood@live.com. If you need a photographer to come to an event, I travel to you. Also, Fashion Academy, you can look us up at fashionacademy.biz, B-I-Z. And if you need an image consultant, email me or look us up on Fashion Academy. So yeah.
And Miss Kayla.
You can contact me at 901-644-6337. Again, that's 901-644-6337, or email me at dpaget11@yahoo.com. That's dpaget11@yahoo.com.
She's done that a few times.
She has. They can reach me at Shelly at ShellyBauer.com, ShellyBauer.com. And my phone number is area code 901-340-7517. I think we've already mentioned the website, so we'll wrap up for sake of time.
Thank you all for being on this panel, media and entertainment from start to finish. And Shelly, thank you for co-hosting this event
My pleasure, always.
with me.
It's fun to be with you.
It's awesome to be with you as well and to share. Visit us at businessovercoffee.biz. We would love for you to join us on our community site and be a part of what we're doing. We are bringing everyone together through connections, collaboration, exposure, and business. We work with professionals who want to optimize three things: social media, educational exchange, and networking events. I am Sherry Henley, the co-host of Business Over Coffee TV, as well as the founder and CEO of BOCI. You can reach me at sherryhenley.com. Until next time, continue bringing everyone together.